Assalamu alaikum. May peace, blessings and mercy of Allah be upon you and to all the messengers of Allah, and in particular on the noble and the final messenger Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his family and his companions. Today is the first lecture video series of CIA Part 2, Practice of Internal Auditing for all the exams beginning in 2020. CIA Part 2 requires at least 3 months of continuous preparation. Candidates are required to dedicate 3 hours daily on weekdays and 6 hours on the weekend. Now talk about the basic information of the CIA Part 2. There are 4 sections in CIA Part 2. Section A is known as Managing Internal Audit Activity and has a weightage of 20%. Section B is known as Planning the Engagement and has the weightage of again 20%. Section C is known as Conducting Internal Audit Engagements and has the highest weightage of 40%. Section D is known as Communicating Results and Monitoring Progress and has the weightage of 20%. Now we will talk about the format of the CIA Part 2 exam. There will be 100 MCQs being tested in the exam in the 120 minutes, that is 2 hours. This means that each MCQ has to be attempted in 1 minute, allowing ample time for final revision before submitting the test. The passing score of the CIA Part 2 is 600 out of the 750 points, that is the 80%. Now we will begin with the Section A, Managing the Internal Audit Activity. We will be expecting around 20 questions from this section in exams. The first point is define the internal auditing. Internal auditing is an independent, objective assurance and consulting activity designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. It helps an organization accomplish its objectives by bringing a systematic, disciplined approach to evaluate and improve the effectiveness of risk management, control and governance processes. Study point number 2. What is internal auditing's nature of work? The internal audit activity must evaluate and contribute to the improvement of the organization's governance, risk management and control processes using a systematic, disciplined and risk-based approach. Internal audit credibility and value are enhanced when auditors are proactive and their evaluations offer new insights and consider the future impact. Study point number 3 says, what are the operational duties of the Chief Audit Executive? From an operational standpoint, the Chief Audit Executive has to make sure that plan engagements are carried out in a timely manner, resources needed to carry out the plan engagements are properly allocated, and the results of the engagement are properly communicated to all the interested parties. Study point number 4. What does the Standard 2000 Managing the Internal Audit Activity elaborates? The Chief Audit Executive must effectively manage the internal audit activity to ensure it adds value to the organization. The internal audit activity is effectively managed when A. It achieves the purpose and responsibility included in the internal audit charter. It conforms with the standards. B. Its members conform with the code of ethics and the standards. C. It considers trends and emerging issues that could impact the organization. The internal audit activity adds value to the organization and its stakeholders when it considers strategies, objectives, and risks. It strives to offer ways to enhance governance, risk management, and control processes and objectively provides relevant assurance. Study point number 5. What does the Standard 2040 policies and the procedures say? The Chief Audit Executive must establish policies and the procedures to internal audit activity. The form and content of the policies and procedures are dependent upon the size and structure of the internal audit activity and the complexity of its work. The size, structure, and complexity of the internal audit activity will determine the necessary extent, depth, and formalization of the policies and the procedures. Study point number 6. With whom the internal audit activity, policies, and the procedures must be aligned with. It is essential to ensure that internal audit policies and procedures are aligned with the mandatory guidance of the International Professional Practices Framework, that is the IPPF, B. The internal audit charter, and C. The organization strategies, policies, and the processes. Study point number 7. What is generally included in the internal audit policies? Internal audit includes the 6 items. A. The overall purpose and responsibilities of the internal audit. B. Adherence to the mandatory guidance of the IPPF. C. Dependence and objectivity. D. Ethics. E. Promoting confidential information. And F. Record retention. Study point number 8. What is generally included in internal audit procedures? Internal audit procedures include the A. Preparing a risk-based audit plan. B. Planning an audit and preparing the engagement work program. C. Performing audit engagements. D. Documenting audit engagements. E. Communicating results and reporting. F. Monitoring and follow-up processes. Study point number 9. Who develops the policies and the procedures of the internal audit activity? The Chief Audit Executive develops policies and the procedures. Formal administrative and technical audit manuals may not be needed by all internal audit activities. Study point number 10. What is the role of the audit committee regarding the internal activity? The following are other functions of the audit committee regarding the internal audit activity. A. Selecting or removing the Chief Audit Executive and set for her compensation. B. Approving the internal audit charter. C. Review and approving the internal audit activities work plan. D. Ensuring that the internal audit is allocated sufficient resources. E. Resolving disputes between the internal audit activity and management. F. Communicating with the Chief Audit Executive who attends all audit meetings. G. Reviewing the internal audit activities work product, example, interim and financial engagement communications. H. Ensuring that engagement results are due consideration. I. Overseeing appropriate corrective action for deficiencies noted by internal audit activity. J. Making appropriate inquiries of the management and the Chief Executive to determine whether audit scope or budgetary limitations impede the ability of the internal activity to meet its responsibilities. All the topics presented in this video has been taken from my CIE Part 2 Practice of Internal Auditing Study Book 420. The link to subscribe the same is mentioned in the description of the video. Please share your feedback, recommendations and comments. Have a nice day. Take care.